It should be fine. Nikki, what's up? Olivia, what's up? As people keep tuning in, get the party started.
Let me go on here and you're live on YouTube as well. Let me double check in here. Say something.
Yeah. As we keep moving.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, we're good then. I don't know. TikTok's talking crazy. So we always start every episode of You Control You with what I'm grateful for. Man, I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for my family. If there's anything specific that I could touch on that I'm grateful for, just have an amazing family, amazing kids, an amazing life. I was just talking about this yesterday. I said out loud, I was like, man, I was destined to be a statistic. If I would have told somebody what my life started out as, they would have told me I'm just a statistic. To be able to avoid that and rise above that has been amazing. And I'm extremely grateful for that. Extremely grateful for that. So as always, let me know what you're grateful for. I'm always curious to hear that. I know we're hitting y'all at a different day and a different time, but things happen. So hopefully y'all vibe nonetheless. Yeah, we're gonna let people fill in and let people do what they gotta do and keep it moving. I hope everybody's having a beautiful day, a beautiful time out here. Hopefully nothing is too crazy out there. Hopefully the weather isn't getting to you. I know some of you live in places where it's gonna get a little colder, and so that'll be strange. Yeah, but again, let me know what you're grateful for. I always like to know what people are grateful for and keep it moving. Today's topic, we're going to talk about changing your stars, right? And what I mean is by how to improve your position in life and to overcome adversity that you may have been born with or that you were given throughout your life, and how it's possible to change where you come from. So if you figure that some people are born, and you think about it as a rating system, almost like a video game, some people are born and people would say, oh, they're destined to have just one star. They're born into poverty. They're born into this. They're only going to have they're going to live a one-star life. Well, you could change that. You could always change that, right? And vice versa. If you were born with 5 stars, what someone would consider 5 stars, right? You were born into a wealthy family, you're born into loving parents, you're born into this. There's things that you could do that could easily bring that down, right? So today's episode is all about changing your stars. And this is a very, very interesting subject to me because, as I've stated on episodes before, I come from a household that I suffered a lot of physical abuse. My stepfather, used a lot of racial slurs in dealing with me and beating me, dealing with dealing with sexual assaults within my household. So growing up, there weren't a lot of standards put on me, or what a lot of people call expectations, right? And if I told somebody how I grew up, right, as a 5-year-old kid, if I told you, yeah, I was being called the N-word, I was being beaten, I was being held down and sexually assaulted for like a little less than a decade of my life, then people would have assumed that I was going to grow up with 1 star. I wasn't going to amount to anything. And I'm very blessed that I run a business. I'm very blessed that I'm married and I have kids. I'm very blessed that a lot of that didn't necessarily determine where I was going to end up, right? And we all have that capability in us to do that, right? We all have the knowledge within us, or the I'm trying to look for the right word. We have the capabilities, but we also have the drive if we bother to get behind the steering wheel and really go. King Curl says, you made the light you wanted. Yeah, I get that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I forged forward, and I didn't hide away from the pain, right? And what I mean by that is I did spend a good portion of my life neglecting that pain, by moving away from that pain, not focusing on it, not thinking about it, instead of just embracing who I am, embracing the darker parts of me, embracing the fact that I have gone through that, embracing the fact that I grew up a bastard. And it's funny because we have all these words that people are afraid to use and afraid to face. I grew up a victim. I can't move away from that. I was a victim. I was a bastard. I will always be a bastard. Right? I can't avoid certain things. I no longer have to be a victim. And once you start realizing some of this, and you just come to grips with it, and you're honest with yourself on it, it's truly amazing what you can accomplish. But you have to be honest about who you are. You have to be honest about where you came from. You have to be honest with yourself about where you want to go. King Curls, yeah, of course, didn't let it hold me back, but I did for a very long time, right? Because I was afraid to face who I was. I was afraid to face the darkness that was there. I was writing something out today, and I talked about how everybody loves the quote from Bane in The Dark Knight. Oh, darkness, you say. I was born in the dark. And he goes on. And so many people think it's dope. And it's funny because right off the bat, my ego, when that first came out, was like, yes, exactly. And all these people talk about what they've been through and what they've suffered and all this stuff. And it's like, you haven't suffered darkness. Like, let me tell you about darkness. Darkness is when you're getting called the N-word. Darkness is when you're getting hit with a hammer and other tools, and getting scars on your body, and getting messed up and beaten for no reasons, and ripped from your grandmother's bedroom and forced to do all these things, and being sexualist. That's darkness. But there's so many people living worse than me. And my darkness may not seem like anything to them. And it took me a while to realize that we're all the same, because we all suffer some kind of darkness. Doesn't matter how we get there. We all suffer through darkness. And if we can be honest with ourselves, we can find the freedom that we desire in that. As I stated, I was able to start changing my stars and changing my level in life when I just came to the understanding of this. When I was a child, I was a victim here. I was truly a victim. I was being forced to do things that I didn't want to do. I was going through things that I did not want to go through. And I put a stop to it with fighting. I eventually fought back, right? And most of my life, I always thought that if I needed to overcome something, I needed to fight. I needed to literally go to war with my hands. And eventually you understand that's great to be able to have that ability, right? It helped me in life. It helped me in the ring. It helped me on the mat. like I'm a former fighter, so it helped me in all those regards, but it didn't always help. It can't help me in the business world. It can't help me be a father. It can't help me be a husband. So I had to learn to grow my mind and become quote unquote civilized in order to maneuver in these worlds. And so I, because I was hiding away from my darkness, it made me a victim in other ways. And I had to come to the realization that I'm no longer a victim. I'm no longer trapped by these. I don't have to be trapped in what the world says I am. Okay, cool. I was sexually assaulted. I was raped as a child. Okay. I'm not a victim anymore. That's never going to happen again, right? Yes, I'm a bastard. Okay. That doesn't have, there's certain things that I'll never have that other people have. Okay, dope. Now just be that to my kids, right? And it's basically, in order to change your stars, you must first look inward and be honest with who you are and face all those dark dark crevices within your mind and within your emotions. And it's crazy when you really dive deeper how much light you need to shed on yourself, because then nobody else will have that power over you because you've already faced it. Now, let me look on here. When we will stop this insanity that is MAGA.
Oh boy.
Not getting into a political rant today.
We already had that talk.
True to Boy Rose says we all been through it. All good. And then Jamie Boris, all good men evolve. I did in the 80s as a kid and a young adult. Good. That's exactly what we got to be. King Curls, you created new stars to see new light. Sal, yeah, Sal, ask a question. Yeah, that's exactly it. You create these stars and it gives you a different light. And it doesn't mean that you still don't have dark moments, but how I look at it as is that we're all men, all masculine energy is looking for freedom, right? Ooh, I got you, Sal. Stay with me for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Sal.
Oh,
I'm gonna get you on that one,
you
Sal.
came out.
Yeah, I got you. So when, yeah, I lost my train of thought on that one. All masculine energy is looking for a type of freedom, right? We're looking for a way out. If you have sex to relieve the pressure, that's what you're doing. If you have a drink, if you smoke, if you do this, if you have to do that. Well, um what happens when you just get comfortable with who you are and you know and you realize that you are free, that you're honest about who you are, and you go forward. Now you don't need any vices to escape the world. You don't need all these things because you're already living as a free person. Okay, hey King, don't insult him now. Okay, Sal 567 explanation point. How can you motivate someone when you're not in great shape? It's kind of contradicting, isn't it? Interesting. So my question to you then is great shape just having a six pack? Because if you're saying just to having a shaped body, there's plenty of people in good shape that didn't work for it, right? Now, am I working to get in better shape? Yes. I challenge most people, or I would be open to challenging most people. If you have a great physique, let's put on some gloves. Let's put on some gloves, right? And we'll see who's in better shape, right? Let's wrestle on the mat and let's see who's in better shape. Because I still spar for 10 to 15 rounds on Sundays. I still hit mitts. I still grapple. I still do these things. So as far as being in great shape, I've never had a six pack, but I played football, wrestled, did track. Former fighter. Last time I fought, though, I'm 44, was when I was 39. That was the last time I fought. So it's been, 5 years, almost 6. And it's, let's see. Hey, hey, Sal, we could do that. See who eats healthy for a year, because I know exactly how much, what my calorie intake is. I eat 2,300, about 2,350 calories. I only eat about 50 grams of carbs, and I ingest 252 grams of protein every day. So, like, I love, matter of fact, I would tell everybody here, I'm gonna do a shout out. I would advise everybody to check out this app called Chronometer. So it tracks, Chronometer. Ooh, is there a way, like, it tracks everything you're doing, so you can input food. Since we doing that,
To me, I'll put it in the camera for them to be able to see it.
Okay.
So you can just focus on talking about it.
so all you got to do is you can put in food. There's still it's too blurry. It's still too blurry. Oh, almost. There we go. So that's how much protein I'm supposed to take in. That's how many carbs I'm allowed. And so on 19th, when was the 19th? Yesterday. So the only thing I didn't put in, I didn't put in my 3 pieces of chicken breast. See, Chronometer tracks it all, right? And so, yeah, that's okay.
You're not able to see it?
Some people couldn't see it. I think it got better as we went. So Chronometer, right? You could track it all. Now, the beauty of this, and see, I'm glad I pulled this up because wouldn't have known. Chicken breast. I'm just put in chicken, right? Chicken breast, skinless, cooked. It tells me roughly 125.2 grams of protein. It's 0 carbs. I add that to my diary. Boom. Now I hit it. So Chronometer is dope. It's what my nutritionist and / strength trainer uses with all the fighters. It's what we use. At least that's pretty much everybody uses it at my gym, right? To track their food intake. Now, if he ain't ready, but see, it's all about changing the stars. You know what the thing is like, he asked a question, I wanted to answer it. If he wants to set out a challenge, hey, we could do a challenge. I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm in the greatest of shape. I know I could still go fight. I know my cardio's on point. I know I'm strong as shit. And I know that I'm going to keep pushing. Am I right where I want to be? Nah. I'm never happy with it. But I lift 3 days a week, and I would probably lift more if my body could do it anymore. Benefit of football and fighting. So if he can't see motivation from that, and if that doesn't motivate him, if he wants to follow somebody that basically has a 6-pack and looks great, hey, more props to you. I understand that. I don't know how. Is it possible to see, like, what kind of shape I'm in from this angle?
No. You want me to go a wider angle?
No, it's like, is it like?
Oh yeah, for you to be able to figure that out. I don't know. No.
But I'm always gonna be a big dude. I like being I like being a gorilla. It allows me the ability to scare others from even trying to mess with my family. And honestly, I don't plan on dying from a heart attack anytime soon. And I'm in pretty good shape when it comes to my doctors. So if that doesn't inspire you, if you want to follow somebody else, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Argument lacks nuance.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't not follow Eric Thomas because he may be out of shape.
yeah, Eric Thomas. Yeah, I listen to Eric Thomas like crazy, but yeah, he doesn't work out every day.
So it's about what's in the mind.
Yeah, most
And
definitely.
if I'm looking for an example, there's life examples
Yeah,
that shows me that somebody has resilience and was able to self-motivate to push them through those different experiences.
exactly.
So maybe he's just not familiar with your backstory, and maybe
And-
he's looking at something physical to try and
Yeah.
use that as
Yeah.
an excuse.
And like I said, that's fine. If Sal wants to,
But I love you, Sal.
yeah, I appreciate you commenting, Sal. If you want to follow someone that looks a certain way, and that's what motivates you, then by all means get that. No hate on that. If somebody, but then I would challenge you. Would you say that to the world's strongest man? Because those dudes are huge, and they don't look like they don't have six packs. They don't have these things. So it's like, but follow what inspires you and be motivated by who motivates you, by all means. And if you're in great shape and you look great, then start motivating people to look that way. I believe everybody should know how to shoot a firearm. Everybody should know how to defend themselves, and everybody should have the capabilities of ripping someone else's head off. If to you that means you got to have a six pack, by all means, I'm with it. Get cut up, get sliced up. I dig it.
Don't follow false prophets.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them around.
So, but back to what I was saying though, changing your stars. You really have to. Oh, thank you, Victoria. You really have to honestly face yourself, and once you can become Grand Rising, bro. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Much love. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. Look, if you want to change who you are and change your stars in life, you really have to be honest with yourself, honest with your darker tendencies, and be honest with whatever you're going through. And it's possible to change your stars. It's possible to go from one end of the spectrum to the next. It's not easy though. It's a lot of pain. It's going to be a lot of pain, but you could do it. It's not that hard. You can easily overcome different things. And reminding yourself of what to be grateful for. And don't play the victim when you don't have to. It's so easy to blame somebody else. It's so easy to just say, oh, that's your fault. That's a victim mentality. You don't want to be a victim in this world. Nobody has time for it. And I see so many people do it. It's like, oh, it's their fault. It's like this and it's their, like, come on. Like at some point, when do you control yourself? When do you control your urges? When do you control your emotions? When do you focus on, oh, it's her fault, it's his fault, it's their fault, it's that, like, who cares? Focus on you. Make yourself better. If there's something you want to change about you, then and do it. Ash, thank you so much. I'm happy you came across it as well. Appreciate you. Like it's not difficult. It's not difficult to become something better. You just got to know what you're trying to strive for. You got to know your goals. You got to know where you want to go. You got to set your mind to one purpose. Like I want to be successful in this, and this is what I'm going to do. And that's it. That's really it. And so many people, I was talking about this in my gym with the fighters. I have a couple fighters. Why do you go to the gym every day? Because we're in there training 7 days a week, right? I'm holding pads, I'm doing something, they're hitting pads. And people say, well, why don't you take a day off? It's like, what are you talking about? Like, well, aren't you in pain? Aren't you? Yeah. But why would I take a day off? I love what I do. Like, really think about that. I love what I do. If you got to do what you love to do every day, you may not like it every day, but you love to do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Why would you let anything else interrupt that? Why wouldn't you just give everything you have to that? That is so weird to me. It's like people will go to work, right? And they'll just work this normal job, come home, and lose their mind in front of a TV, or have a drink, or have sex, or they'll do this to take a time out from life. What? So you're going to enjoy 30 minutes to 2 hours? That's your life? That's all you love? Is 30 minutes to 2 hours of your life? That's stupid. Make that make sense. I'd rather do the things I love, right? And build it into a career. And then when I actually quote unquote unplug from that, do something else I love. Whether it's my family, whether it's this. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Just because I love it, it doesn't always make me happy. It causes me pain, causes me some stress. It's exhausting. But I'm doing what I love to do. And once I realized that mind frame, it made life so much easier, because society will try to pin you in this trap. Oh, you were assaulted, you were beaten, you were abused, you were this. Everybody will understand. Just be this. Are you nuts? I was given a gift of life. And it doesn't matter what someone else did to me. What is the most important thing out of all this is what I do to myself and for myself. Because it doesn't matter. I can't go back in time and change what happened, right? Nothing can change what happened. But I can use it. I can use it to know that I can suffer any amount of pain that you give me. When I literally dislocated my knee and tore multiple ligaments, training for a fight, I sat in the ER for 2 hours, no tears, just locked in, just going through the pain. Like, yep, this isn't the worst thing I've gone through. Let's go. For 2 hours. And it sucked. But I have a high pain tolerance. Like, if I have to switch through, that gear will switch. And it's why I was able to come back and fight again. It took me 2 years to come back from that injury. And I fought again with one foot that doesn't work. You can overcome anything. You can change your life. You can make your life better. Could you scroll up?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see. Seems like so many people. Renee, thank you for the heart. I want to be a successful freestyle rapper, singer. Okay. I suffer with back problems. Any recommend for a workout? Victoria, I would say yoga. Anytime it's back things, I always think of yoga. So many people I know that suffer from like certain injuries, they do yoga. While I only make music for myself, I hope there's people that can resonate with it in one way. I love all of my life. Every moment is beautiful. It teaches us a lesson. Yeah, I was. Okay, keep going. Amen. Man, thank you so much for everyone just commenting and chiming in with me. Had a shattered patella at torn ligament, waiting for surgery, still overcame. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Keep pushing. Thank you. Feeling very motivated. I started stretching. There you go, Victoria. I bet you can put it down. In a fight, yeah, most definitely. My last fight, like I said, was like 5 years ago, and it ended in no mas. He spit out his mouth guard. He said, "No more, no mas, no mas." And if those familiar with boxing understand that phrase from Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard, "No mas." Victoria, yeah, no doubt. You're welcome. Always thank you for always supporting me, man. Like I appreciate it. So, um, Ash, if you're hopefully you're still here. Look, rapping and singing isn't hard. And I can tell you this because music paid my bills. Now, not the talent side, the business side paid my bills, which is what I would tell you. If you truly love it, then you should be writing music every day. Like even if it's for an hour, dictate an hour to being creative and writing music. And you should dedicate at least an hour to the business side of things, learning the business, learning about your PROs, your copyrights, your trademarking, your what am I missing here? Streaming, royalties, learning how royalties work, learning about music business, right? So just focus on that. And if you're in school, you should be doing way more than an hour. If you're working, an hour is acceptable. If I would put it more, but I understand you got a life. So and just put it all in there and just focus on that. Being creative is easy. It's the other side that's hard. Right? And I run into that with my own social media, and I run into that editing videos. Like, if I could just talk all day, this would be easy. I would literally podcast every day. I would get on here live every single day. And so this is the easy part for me. This is just the creative outlet, right? So, but how many of you have changed your stars thus far? I want to know. Like, please comment. Let me know. Like, you started at one end of the spectrum. Now you're doing something better, and it doesn't even have to be drastically better. Let me know how you've changed your stars, how you've improved your life. Share if you want to be open, share what really propelled you to do that, right? What got you there? Because you never know. Your story might motivate someone else because we're all so connected. Just because you didn't have to deal with racial slurs, just because you weren't beaten, just because you weren't sexually assaulted and raped, doesn't mean that you can't understand my darkness. You can't understand you doesn't mean you won't understand my pain. Maybe your parents didn't pay attention to you. If that's the worst pain that you ever felt, then you understand my darkness. We don't have to go through the same unique experiences to understand darkness. We just got to understand that we had darkness, right? That's what makes us all the same. That's what gives us the freedom to be ourselves, not worry about judgment. So what did you go through? What have you been through that helped you change your stars? Victoria, left a 15-year-old marriage, was broke, eating from food banks, and now I'm a certified pharmacy tech. Let's get it. Let's get it. That's what I'm talking about. It's not even about why the marriage didn't work. It's the fact that you were broke and eating from food banks. And now you're just going. Now you're pushing. Certified farm tech, let's go. Pharmacy tech, let's go. Man, hey, if you want to interview me, ask me some questions. I love questions. Victoria, let me ask you this question. How did that first meal taste that you cooked from that first paycheck you got as a pharmacy tech? How'd that first meal taste? What was that feeling like? Is that name, did you see Dr. Kim? No. Who's Dr. Kim? Anybody? Let me know something.
Not up on that one.
Glitter Pit. I can't even say your name. Oh man, it was so beautiful, Steak. Ah, there you go. See, the fact you remember. That's what I mean. The moment you start doing something different with your life, everything feels different. You remember it differently. It's like it's this feeling that drives you. You're like, man, I did it. I did it. And the funny thing is like, you can keep doing that. You can keep getting that feeling of accomplishment. You just got to work at it. You got to go through some pain, some suffering. You might not sleep a couple nights. You may be exhausted. Every time I look at myself on this camera, I always see bags under my eyes. And I'm like, man, what am I, like, am I really struggling that bad? And it's like, no, you just work. You just work, man. You put in work. But I love what I do, so I won't change it. It's like you just got to keep pushing. And I keep telling people, just be honest with yourself. Like, just be real with yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. If there's something you want to improve on, then make it better. But don't just accept who you are. I tell people all the time I'm a caveman. Right? I'm a caveman. Like, and I'm like damn near animalistic. Like, it's crazy. I can sniff fear like that. Like, I get really descriptive. Corey's gonna laugh. He's just gonna say, wow. Yo, I could tell like fighters, yo, you need to go get laid. Like, you need to go get laid, yo. Like, go do that. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's something weird. It's something in me that's just like always animalistic. That's who I am. I'm gonna protect my family till death. I smell fear on people. It's like, it's a scent. It's like, it's so weird to me, but it's me. Now, I've read lots of books. I continue to read just so I can become a more well-rounded individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it is what it is. I'm always going to be me. I can't change the core of me. The core of me is very caveman-like. I want to open doors for women. Like, I'm going to help an old person out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just who I am. I believe as I'm strong, it's my job to help the weak. It is what it is. Primal senses, yeah. Antonio, you doing none of that. I don't really know how to answer that one, but it's cool. Integrity, a lot of people don't have that. We beast. Yeah, like I'd rather be a beast and not be held down by anybody else. And so, again, share your stories. Like Victoria shared hers. I want to know, like, at what point did you change your stars? Did you go from here to here? Don't it just piss you off that people, wait a minute. Don't it just piss you off that people you could have the ability to tell you what? No, it doesn't make me mad. It honestly, maybe when I was younger, I do a pretty good job of not letting other people dictate who I am and my emotions. Like, I even get frustrated if I let my wife frustrate me, I get more frustrated at myself. It's like, why? It's like, So wait, don't it just piss you off that people you could kill have the ability to tell you what to do just because you need paper to survive? Oh. Okay, yeah, I was answering it right. So How do I not let it? How, bro? It's hard to not let it bother me. You, it all depends on age, right? So, how old are you, right? Like, how old are you and what's your living situation? And I say that because, like, my kid, you're 24, okay.
Hmm.
So you're an adult. Why let anybody else, what anybody else says, dictate how you feel? Unless they're, unless they're controlling where you live and controlling what you eat, they really have no control over you. Even your boss. If your boss says something, right, you can choose to let it bother you. Usually, what I tell people and what I've had to learn and on my own, learn this on my own, is if someone says something and it hurts my feelings, that's something that I have not faced yet. So, like, if you scroll back, someone says something like, how are you able to, why do you think you should motivate people when you're not in great shape, right? Valid question, right? To him, I know I train every day. I know I put in work every day. I know as a former fighter what I'm capable of, right? If it was something that I was insecure about, I would let that bother me for sure. I understand what my insecurities are. I face them. I deal with them. I call them my demons. I deal with them every day. Because I face them and I don't shy away from them, somebody else doesn't have the ability to shine a light on them and affect me, right? Now, could it hurt my feelings? Most definitely, right? If somebody I loved and somebody I was close to poked at one of my insecurities, yeah, for sure, it could hurt my feelings. But then I need to ask myself, is it worth having them in my life? If they're willing to go this far to try to harm me, do they need to have space in my life? Right? Yes, I can forgive them, but I don't need to let them have space in my life necessarily. Now, if it's my wife, I'm not going to divorce my wife over it unless it's happening all. I can have grace to understanding that we might have disagreements. Someone might say something, right? That's just being human. So if I address my own insecurities, then it makes it easier. Like one of my biggest insecurities is not being enough, not being good enough, right? And I know where it stems from. It stems from a childhood of being a bastard. It stems from being assaulted. It stems from being called the N word. It comes from being raped. It comes from being beaten. It comes from all this, right? A childhood of growing up thinking this is happening because I'm not good enough, right? Well, I know that insecurity is there. I face it. I face it and I use it. I point it, right? I pointed at my business. I pointed at being a great husband. I pointed at being a better father, right? Because that energy is going to be there. I can't ignore it, but I might as well use it. It's no different than I think I said it on a few episodes ago. I said, I make fighters face their fear. What are you afraid of? Well, I'm afraid of getting knocked out. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid. Well, cool, write it out. Let's face it. Let's do something with it. When you step into anything, you're gonna have fears, but that fear, if you let it control you, is gonna hurt you. It's gonna put you in harm's way. But if you control it, it makes your instinct sharper. It makes you be able to see things quicker, react to certain things. It turns on certain systems that don't normally run, right? That's how you do it. Can you scroll up a little bit, Corey, please?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
Never let someone else control your feelings because they can move you how they want. Exactly. So you're saying I need to be at peace with myself. Yes. Yes, essentially. Yes to both those. And thank you to everybody that's sharing, everybody that's leaving hearts and diamonds and all this stuff and liking everything. Like I don't remember what our goal is anymore. I don't know if it's like 25,000 likes or something like that. I know our goal is to get a really big number now. We keep growing, but I just want to stop and say thank you so much. I don't know what still learning just sent me, but they sent me something cool. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. But yes, it's changing your stars. I keep saying it. If you want to improve your life, if you want to change your stars, if you want to do better in life, you have to shine a light on all your deep, dark bones in your closet. You have to know them, right? And if something is causing you pain, if someone says something and it's causing you pain, yeah, feel that hurt and ask yourself why. Why does that hurt my feelings? Like, okay. Why am I insecure about this? And it's okay to be insecure about it, right? It's okay. You have to learn how to deal with that. You have to learn how to deal with all the darkest parts in your own brain. So that someone else, just Still Learning said it, I think it was Still Learning, or maybe it was someone else. So someone else can't have control over you. The reason why it's called You Control You is because every day you're in control of yourself. And the moment you react to someone else, they are now running the show, and you should not give them that power. The only one that can run us is God, and God gives us the wisdom, right? If you believe in aliens, then you believe in aliens. If you believe trees run the world, then you believe trees run the world. Whatever it is that you believe in, right? But at the end of the day, we're given free choice. You control you. How do you want to move? How do you want to do these things? So why give someone else the power and the strength over us? Figure out what your insecurities are. Figure out what triggers you. And if you can work on it, then work on it. Understand though, you can't change the core of who you are. I'm always going to be insecure and always have that feeling of not being good enough. It's core programming. It is what it is. Do I make it better? Yes. Do I let other things go? Yes. But there's always going to be a part of me that strives and works and grinds because of my self-worth. That's okay. It's another log to the fire. I like it. I just don't live my life based on that. It's just part of who I am, but it's not all of me. And I face that fear. And when you learn that, when you face that, life gets way simpler. Be comfortable with who the hell you are. If there's something you really want to change,
What was that?
no idea.
Yeah, disconnected. It's trying to reconnect now.
We good?
Looks like it.
Hopefully y'all still there.
I'm checking on my phone right quick.
If, like I was saying, if there's something you don't like about yourself, work on it. And we're not perfect. This is the other thing. You got to realize that we're not perfect. Is it still reconnecting?
Looks like it's still reconnecting. Why is it having trouble? Internet box.
Spectrum was like, screw you guys.
Yeah, it's Spectrum. Let me double check next door.
Well, are you recording anywhere else?
Yep.
Okay.
We're still up on YouTube.
Okay. So then I'll just finish this out. Oh, it completely kicked you the hell off.
This is interesting. So only if the
Ah, there we go. We're back.
only TikTok kicked us off.
Only
yet-
TikTok.
But yet
TikTok.
on Facebook,
TikTok was like, get offline. You saying too much. You giving away secrets. TikTok was like, get offline.
But Facebook and YouTube were fine.
And Facebook and YouTube. Well, that's fine.
And it's the same internet, but
Well, it seems like it is what it is. TikTok was like, you giving away too much information. Like I was saying, look, be okay with who you are. Understand you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. If things hurt your feelings, you have to address that, right? And as you grow and as you mature, certain things are going to bother you differently. The things that bothered me when I was 24, since somebody chimed in, the things that bother me at 24 don't bother me at 44. The things that might irritate me a little bit at 44 won't irritate me at 45 and maybe even 50. Because as we grow, we become more and more comfortable with ourselves. That's why old people are just chilling. They don't care. They're like, man, I lived my whole life. Man, what you gonna tell them? Like, I don't care. So come to grips with who you are. Enjoy your life. And you can change your stars just like that. And Victoria, thank you for sharing, yo. I bet that, man, I bet that steak was hella delicious. And by all means, like, inbox me, tell me your stories. Like, tell me, I want to know about you. Honestly, I really want to know about you. And I'm an open book, so if you got any question, nothing's off limits. Like, I love answering questions. I would love to do a live feed where people just chime in and interview me. That'd be dope. Ask me questions. I'm gonna ask y'all questions too. So, tall glass of mud. That's interesting.
facts.
That's interesting. Because I'm guessing mud is, because mud is brown, you're just a tall glass of brown. That's interesting. That's interesting. As Corey would say, wow. How old are you, babe? I am 44. I'm a young 44. Yeah, young 44. We out here getting it. Living life. So I've lived long enough to enjoy life and understand where I've messed up, understand now how to do better in my life. So I'm 53, but you're intelligent. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I work hard to try to improve myself so I can not be just a caveman. I'm trying to use this up here as my number one weapon and less these as my number one weapon. So it does hurt more. Let me tell you, I'm more exhausted throughout the day using this than I was using these. So, but yeah, thank y'all for chiming in. Thank y'all for all the likes. Thank you for all the gifts. I appreciate y'all so much. Keep rocking with me. Keep tuning in. Man, make sure you follow, subscribe, all that stuff. That way you can keep jumping on when I'm live. We'll be live Monday at 10 a.m. Central. So make sure you look at your time zones. Figure that out. 10 a.m. Central on Monday morning. We're going to be back. We're getting it in. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about on Monday. I do have some ideas, but if there's some things that you want, that you're interested in hearing about, please hit me up, or something that you want to talk about, just DM me, let me know. We can move it. Again, thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all, man. We out. You Control You podcast, baby. Let's go.